Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Now I just went on a little trip to pick up some turtles, and to be honest, it wasn't that successful. Now it was a response to 3 small turtles advertised as musk turtles. One of those was a musk turtle, 2 of them are razorback musk turtles, a very similar species. It gets a bit larger. Now they're very small. They're around a little bit larger than 50p coins. Now I got there, and immediately the guy handed me the turtles, and I noticed that one of those turtles was actually deceased. It's rather alarming and a rather sad situation. However, I do have the other 2 here, but to be honest, it's not looking that great. So the first turtle here, which is probably the healthiest, is the common musk turtle here. Now you can see it's insanely small, and it's really light, really skinny, and this can't be, you know, more than a couple months old at least. You know, these are very small. Now the guy said that he's only had them for 3 months and he's downsizing his collection. When I got them, on the way back, I actually got them out of the container that he handed me, which was full of water because it was freezing cold, and I held them in my hand, and it felt like I was holding ice cubes. It was that cold. The common musk there, I'm not too worried about, but the other razorback musk, I'm a bit concerned about. Its skin is rather pink, which could be a sign of infection. It is showing aggression, but it's also a bit dazed, so it might be tired. But they smell, so they've probably got some illnesses. They're not looking great, but they are active. I'm happy that I've got these 2 here, and I'm hoping they will settle in well overnight, and in the morning I'll reevaluate the situation and see if I'll need to seek some veterinary help for these guys. But for the moment, I'm just going to let them settle in, and yeah. Hi guys, it's the next day after collecting these 2 turtles. Unfortunately, one of the 3 was dead when I received it, and I was really worried about these 2 here. And all I did was just leave them in a tub with a bit of water. I tilted it that way so it has a bit more water, and it looks like they've soiled the water quite heavily. So my plan is I'm going to just assess them, do a physical health check sort of thing. If there's any signs of infections or anything, I'll have to probably separate them off and keep them in this sort of setup. But if they look okay, what I'll probably do is move them in quarantine along with the 2 map turtles. If you remember, I got not too long ago, so they're still in quarantine. So I'll just chuck them in there because I know that setup is healthy and established, so that should be okay for them. So let's assess the one which I'm less concerned about, as this one was more active yesterday on the way home, and that's the tiny little common musk turtle here. And this species has actually become really popular in the pet trade after they've banned the sales of Trachemy species like your red ears and yellow belly sliders. 2 of the turtles I've found most popular now to be in the pet trade are the cooters and these guys here. and to be honest, it's rightfully so. These musk turtles stay a relatively small size. I do have 2 females, so if this one does make it and do really well, hopefully it's a male and we can have a breeding group, a breeding trio. So these are adult musk turtles. These are adult females, and this is the size that these sort of species will get. So they're not a big species at all. Now I have examples here of 2 of them. This one here is chunkier, so this is what a lot of people find these guys as, because they can be a bit chunky. This one here is a little bit skinnier, and this is once again another example of, ideally you don't want to just have 2 turtles together. You want to have more, or just the one, because they do get a bit food aggressive or food orientated. However, these 2 came in together. These 2 are a rehome from a family. I have mentioned in the past about their story. But they came in together. They do well together. It's just this one's a little bit less food orientated than this one. But hopefully when this new one does well and gets a little bit larger, I can introduce it to these 2 girls, and maybe down the line we can produce some lovely captive bred babies for them, to have a nice little colony that I can keep outside, because these guys are found in America, from Florida up across that sort of area of the United States. So it does get fairly cold sometimes during the year. So if you offer them the correct environment outside here in the UK, especially in the southeast, you will potentially be able to keep these guys outside all year round. Okay, but you can actually see they're a gorgeous species here. There we go. They are just beautiful animals, and I can't wait, and I hope these 2 new turtles that I got in do well, because they are amazing animals. Yeah, okay. But he's looking okay. He's still quite skinny, but not as bad as yesterday. I think he's settled in a bit better, and yeah, he's not looking too bad now. Alright, so I'm going to put him back for now. Pop him on this lock here. Okay, now this one here is the most one I'm worried about. But it's also the one I'm more excited about as well. I shouldn't pick favourites, but I've never kept the Razorback musk in my personal collection, but here this one is here. Alright, so this one's quite chunky, however it's got quite a pink plastron, which can be a sign of internal infection. Hopefully it's probably down to stress still. I don't see any lesions or fungal things, anything really that looks like it could be passed on to the other animals. Their eyes are relatively clear, so what I reckon's probably happened is they've just been kept in a inadequate environment, that the water quality has dropped quite rapidly. So what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to make the call, and I'm going to put them in with the mat turtles. Now a lot of you might disagree with that, however I feel fairly confident that if I put them in there with them, the added behaviour of the mat turtles might help them adjust with eating. I'm going to treat them with some salts anyway, and it has a nice UV area filtration, and it's established, so I reckon it's probably the best bet for these turtles. Alright, so here is the MAPS enclosure here. As you can see, it's just a Rubbermaid tub. I did show this in a previous video when I got the MAP turtles. It gets water changed every week, sometimes more, but you know, it's a basic thing, very sterile sort of situation. You can see on the bottom here it's got a build up of silt. I like to keep a bit of silt in the enclosure because it helps break down, or it helps the bacteria grow and everything that way. I try not to siphon out that sort of thing, and actually I try and take it out through water changes rather than physically removing it, because it helps that bacterial load grow in a natural way. If you physically take out a lot of the stuff for the bacteria to feed on, you might have a bacteria die off, and then you will have a cycle crash and things like that. But we also have some different species of algae growing in here, which helps with the water quality. You can see on the sides here, a lot of keepers like to remove algae from glass and the sides of the enclosure. I like it. You can see it on all the rocks as well. I like it for multiple reasons. One of the reasons is that when it grows on the sides, it helps avoid that situation where the turtles will frantically go back and forth against the glass or the plastic, trying to get out, similar to what he's doing there. But as you can see, he's doing it on a side without any algae on it. Another thing is that algae is completely natural. It helps with the water quality just like plants do, so I like that a lot. I also have there's a fish down there as well. That's a platy. I have a load of different platies in a tank next to me here. That's just to help clean up any leftover bits. I fed them a dubia roach last night, as you can see by that floating bit of carcass there, and they made short work of that. Got a bit of java moss in there for them to hide in. That also helps with the water quality as well. A fake plant for them to sit in, and then a sponge filter that does the trick for filtration quite nicely. Okay, so let's introduce the first turtle here, which is this guy here. And as you can see, it's a rather small baby. You can see its shell is quite serrated still. As it gets larger, that will smoothen off. There he is. Okay, I'm just going to pop him on the platform and let him walk in on his own. Now I am going to obviously monitor these guys. Typically multiple turtles should get along, and if anything, having these two introduced into this will help the other two turtles in here as well, because you shouldn't really have just two turtles on their own. You get dominancy issues, and once you introduce multiple turtles above two animals, that sort of gets reduced because the aggression gets distributed. So it looks like he's just going to sit there and bask under the UV light. I don't actually know if he was on UV light before. I'm going to doubt he was. So this might be a first for him. I'm just going to go ahead and pop the other one in as well. This is the razorback musk. This species gets a little bit larger than the common, and it has a beautiful shell on it. It's just a shame the other one didn't make it, but you can see by its pinkish plastron there that it's still quite stressed. Okay, so I'm going to pop this one there as well. Now the water is a bit deeper in this one compared to its last little holding thing overnight. In some ways that's good, in some ways that's bad. Now this entire enclosure is sloped, so the back of it is shallower than the front. But with these sort of turtles, they like to be in somewhat shallow water just so they can stick their necks out. I imagine at the top there, if they get up on their back legs, they'll be able to stick their head out quite easily. But the front it isn't, so that's something I'll have to watch out for. But these rocks are fairly easy to climb up and rest on, so hopefully, because they've been in overnight, they've got their energy back, so they should be okay to swim around in this sort of enclosure. And of course, offering them a larger water area for them to swim around in will help with their muscle growth, so they should be able to swim a bit better. But there they are, two little turtles there. Now I might give them a poke just so they know where the clean water is. Okay. There we go. There you go. Alright. And there's one of the map turtles there. The musk is down there. There we go. And another thing I find with the silt as well is it does actually help them blend in. Now you might not think that turtles are aware of their surroundings in that sort of way, but they are. Animals will actively change their coloration depending on the sort of lighting of the soils and environment they're in. If you put a turtle in a darker environment, it will get darker colours, and if you put it in a lighter environment, it'll get lighter colours. So that's a similar thing there, and I find this is a very good sort of match of things for that musk turtle, so hopefully it does really well in this sort of environment. Okay, so I reckon that's it really. There's nothing really more I can do at the moment, apart from just let them be and let them settle in. Thanks for watching. I'll do a video update on these guys at a later date. I know it's not the most fun video out there, but it's a video we have to do every once in a while, especially when we get a new turtle. Is an exciting animal, and I will express my excitement when I know these guys are doing a lot better, but they are looking a lot better than yesterday. They are moving around quite a bit. Okay, I'm going to sit here for a while and watch these guys, but I'll let you guys go. Okay, thanks for watching. I'll see you all next time.